Hello everyone, welcome to this class of Indian history, and today in this class we are going to discuss about the Indian independence movement. I am going to give you an overview that how Indian freedom struggle started, how it continued, how it reached its peak, and then finally how we got the independence. So remember one thing, that in today's class I am just going to give you an overview. We are not going to discuss Indian history in detail in the modern history which we say, but just we are going to give an overview to you about how the Indian freedom struggle started, then how we reached it to the independence. So for that, for your help, I have made a loop here through which I will make you understand that how Indian history concluded. Okay, so see, before 1707, India was continuously ruled by strong Mughal leaders. They were strong Mughal leaders who ruled India. The complete Indian empire was ruled by strong Mughal leaders. But the first change which came in Indian history was by the death of Aurangzeb, which happened in 1707. In 1707, by the death of Aurangzeb, Indian history took a major change, as till now the East India Company, which was just doing its business in India, now started to be becoming a part of Indian administration. And the first major step they took was in 1764 by the Battle of Buxar, in which they just conquered the Bengal and entered into the Indian administration. So from here, a company which came to India in 1600 with just administration, with just political matters like they're doing for business, now they have entered into the administration, and now they will be dealing with political affairs also. So East India Company's rule started in India, you can say, from 1764, and it reached its peak in 1857, when few of the Indian leaders who were not satisfied by the East India Company rule and who were not able to just take a solid stand against them, they confronted them with a revolt which is known as First War of Independence also by some Indian historians. We say that like a revolt of 1857. So in this war, what happened was, basically there was an end of traditional leadership in India. The traditional leadership which was coming from 1857 years in India, it ended completely, and now India was to be ruled by British Crown itself. First of all, India was here, it was ruled by East India Company, which was just a company sent by Britain to do business. Now India is to be ruled by Britain itself. So this revolt of 1857, it is known as turning point of Indian history. What it is known as turning point of Indian history, because you can see India was ruled by anyone till 1857. But after 1857, what exactly happened, that exactly 90 years India got it, almost around in 90 years India got its independence in 1947, and without any major war, without any major such kind of leadership we didn't had. So what was that change? Now let me tell you one thing very clearly. This war which is fought for independence is not fought by any leader or any kind of king or someone. This war was fought by a section of society which is known as educated middle class. This war of independence was fought by this section of society which was neutral in this revolt. Remember one thing, educated middle class, the educated middle section, it was neutral in the 1857 revolt. It didn't supported Britain, it didn't supported Indians, they were neutral. Now the basic reason behind why they were neutral was that they believed in British constitution. They believed that Britain will bring modernization here, and Britain will bring modern constitutional reforms also in India. So that's why they were neutral. But as soon as Act of 1858 came, Act of 1858, you can say the belief which the educated middle class had in British constitution, it shattered a bit. It shattered because Indians didn't got anything in the Act of 1858. Yes, we had birth of legislature in this act. Legislature was born in India, but Indians were not made part of legislature at that time. So again, after that, 1861, another act came that was known as Indian Councils Acts. A few of the Indians were allowed to enter, but not with a quite a direct entry or indirect entry, not for, directly for Indians basically. So this educated middle class now is going to lead India in this Indian independence movement. In this Indian independence movement, now the complete freedom struggle will be led by this educated middle class. After 1857, basically you can say that they were rightly into the picture. Now, any of the protest, any of the agitation done in front of Britain, to be done in front of Britain, will be done by this educated middle class. They will be leading Indian charge now. But how? How they will lead? So first of all, to understand that, you need to see that they are educated. They are educated. So definitely they are not going to adopt any path of violence. What they are going to do is they are going to fight this. They are going to take part in this fight by educational methods. So for that, what was their major demand in front of Britain? They demanded majorly that was constitutional reforms. So they believed that we are not expecting you will be really surprised to see to know that this educated middle class, they were not even interested in their initial years. They were not even thinking about taking any kind of freedom from Britain. They just demanded constitutional reforms, that we want, like the way you rule in Britain, we want that same kind of rule in India. People should have political rights, people should have other rights as well. So they wanted constitutional reforms basically. And this demand got a boost in 1885 when Indian National Congress was formed. Indian National Congress formed in 1885. So now this educated middle class, they had a political front to fight against Britain. Till now, there were regional organizations, like few fighting in Bengal, few fighting in Bombay, Madras, Punjab, but India did not had any single political front representing India. But with the formation of INC in 1885, with the formation of Indian National Congress, India got a political front. Okay, now INC started fighting against Britain. But in the initial years, that is known as the moderate phase of Indian National Congress, that is from 1885 to 1905, they just believed in constitutional reforms. They just believed in making petitions, doing prayers, means requesting Britain to bring some constitutional reforms. As a result, they got 1892 Act, but they got nothing in that. Yes, elections was introduced in India, but that were indirect elections. You know, we will be discussing in detail what are elections, what are indirect or what are direct elections. But the moderate phase of Congress, the moderate phase which is I am talking about, that is 1885 to 1905. It was a phase of Congress which was led by very senior citizens, you can say. So they just believed in constitutional reforms. They just believed in doing prayers or requesting Britain. They were not willing to do any kind of utter or any kind of passive resistance against Britain. But as soon as extremists enter the picture, that was the younger wing of the Indian National Congress, extremists from 1905 to 1917. This extremist phase, they believed in passive resistance. What is passive resistance? That is when you say someone that either you do this work or otherwise we will do this. So at this point of time, India saw its first national movement, and that was Swadeshi and boycott movement. So India got to know about a national movement, that yes, a national movement can be organized, and extremist organized Swadeshi and boycott movement basically on the basic cause was partition of Bengal. But by the coming of 1917, Indian administration, Indian politics, Indian freedom struggle took a drastic change as the main hero of the movie, that is Shri Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi ji, entered into the picture. And now from 1917 to 1947, Gandhi ji will be leading Indian freedom struggle and finally taking India to independence. But that was not that easy. He fought really hard. He gave many sacrifices. He was arrested times. He was even he was also given the charge of sedition also. But he did not give up. He just kept on fighting, kept on believing on his principles, that was of non-violence and ahimsa satyagraha. He believed on those principles and finally got the result in the form of independence in 1947. That was not that easy, because firstly, when Gandhiji started his movement, the first big movement that is in the form of non-cooperation movement, he also got a major setback that people are not completely ready till date. People were not completely ready till date for those kinds of movements. But still, non-cooperation movement started in 1921 on Khilafat issue, and which was quite a big success for Gandhiji also as well, because he was not able to get Swaraj, but still we can rate non-cooperation movement as quite a successful movement. After that, he started civil disobedience movement, which again became out to be very successful, and finally he launched Quit India movement, in which he gave the slogan of do or die also, which finally took India towards independence. And after all those agitations produced by all the people, finally India got its independence in 1947. So in today's class, my objective was just to tell you that how Indian freedom struggle started, how it continued, how Congress came into the picture, then how Congress helped India to get independence. So I hope you must have got an overview of the class. See you in next lecture, and we will discuss this Indian history in detail in our complete history lectures. Thank you very much.